What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? What's the fucking word, people? What's going on? My fans, my beautiful people. Um, Welcome to episode 2. Yeah, I actually been waiting to do this episode because I think I'm gonna do them I'm gonna record them. Yeah, record them and upload them every Tuesday. I don't know. I was thinking about doing them a little more sporadically. Wait, what does sporadically mean? I completely forgot that word, but I was thinking about doing them more times than just Tuesday. But I think I'm just gonna limit it to every Tuesday, you know. But yeah, man, this past week has been pretty interesting to say the least. I picked up a book the other day called The Artist's Way. Um, it's a pretty cool book, and like I said again, shout out Dochi because she's the one who like kind of introduced me to this book. Hold up, I need to hit my inhaler real quick. Okay, she's the one who introduced me to this book, and I will say I'm only on week 1. I actually start week 2 tomorrow. I have to do my check-in for week 1 today once I finish this. And I honestly say this book is pretty good so far. Um, you know, it's allowed me to not place so much stress and so much what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? So much stress and so many expectations on my creative process as far as like when it comes to writing and whatnot. And yeah, ever since I started reading this book, I've actually been pretty nifty with the pen, I guess you could say. I've been writing a lot of music. I recorded a song, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was either yesterday or the day before yesterday, but I recorded it on not this mic right here. This is the mic that I used to do on my final song, my final rough draft, my final copies of the songs. Fuck, I don't know why I'm going crazy, but I have another mic, like a little handheld mic that I just use to do demos and drafts and stuff like that. So I recorded something with that, and it actually came out pretty good, you know. And then my boy told me how J. Cole used this book too. So once he said that, I was like, yeah, it's meant to be. It was written in the stars for me to get this book. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a cool ass book. I'm gonna probably play some of that song towards the end of this video. But fact, let's get into it, man. The realities of being an up and coming artist. So last week, I mentioned the first one, which was no one will believe in you like how you believe in yourself. We talked briefly about that. And this one, the second reality, is kind of similar to the first one. This one is nobody will truly see your vision unless you already have a following. And I think that is something that a lot of up and coming artists deal with that makes them quit very early. You know what I mean? They'll put their hard effort into a song, blood, sweat, and tears into writing. Um, if you record yourself recording, mixing, all of that, just to put it out and get no traction. You know what I mean? But then you'll see your man's over here or you'll see your homegirl over here post something that Drake just dropped or SZA just dropped. But it's like, my nigga, these people don't even know you and you're supporting them for free, which is nothing wrong with that. But it's like, you got your peoples over here that's doing the same thing that Drake and SZA and all of them are doing, just on a much smaller level, but yet you rather choose to support them because they have millions of followers and millions of people and millions of dollars, but not support your homie right here, your homegirl. That's a very sad reality, I think every artist has experienced at least once. You know what I mean? I've experienced that. There's been times where, I'll post a song and the people who say they support me and say they do this and say they do that, they won't even not even like the shit. You know what I'm saying? Not even like my shit on Instagram or not even, you know what I'm saying? Not even screenshot it or post it. They won't do anything. You know what I mean? And everyone's entitled to doing what they want. But excuse me. But yeah, that's just one thing that kind of really blows me. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate that. I don't like that. It's like you need some type of following or you need thousands of followers or you need some type of validation just to actually get people to hear you. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, it's like I feel like that's just inevitable. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna go through that. Everybody. You know, I feel like you're never gonna start off and just hit the ground running. You know what I mean? Like you start off and then you have thousands of followers like within 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Of course, that was an exaggeration, but you get the gist of it. Um, yeah, man. I just feel like if artists had people that they really cared about, friends and family and whatnot, actually support their cause and support their goals, you would be so much further ahead in life. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like people are more comfortable with seeing you. How can I word this? Hold up. People are more comfortable seeing you in the state that you're in. They can't fathom seeing you as a superstar, as a big musician, big artist. I'm sorry, not a big artist, a big actor, a big actress, a big painter, a big whatever the case is. They don't see you on that level. They see you at the level that's right there with them. So if this is them and this is you, they don't see you up here. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of motherfucking ego surrendering to see somebody up here. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of love and all of that shit to see someone that was like this up here. You know what I mean? So most of the time, people are not going to see you up there. You know what I'm saying? It's just not what it is. They can't see you at the status of a Drake or at the status of a SZA or at the status of a whoever. You know what I mean? And that just, like I said, that just comes with the territory, man. It's like, it is what it is. And I feel like a lot of artists let that throw them off track. You know what I mean? It's one thing not to get support from strangers and whatnot, but it's also another thing not to get support from the people you want it from the most. You know what I mean? I think that shit hurts the most. But I don't know, man. It's one of those things where you just got to keep pushing. You know what I mean? Because you know that once you do gain that traction and you do gain that momentum and that motion, the same people that saw you right here, they have no other option but to see you up here. You know what I mean? They just got to catch up with the ascension. You know what I'm saying? They have no other option. And then that's when you get all the, oh, I believed in you and I knew you could do it. Oh my gosh, you're just. But it's like, bruh, really, my nigga? Come on now. But it is what it is. But yeah, like I said before, I had a pretty interesting week. What did I do this week? I spent a lot of time reading this book, and I went on my artist date the other day, and I went to, where did I go? Damn, I smoked too much weed. I gotta stop smoking so much. I went to the Whitney Museum. I'm not gonna lie, that shit was boring as hell. But it's funny because in the book, um, she says that you have to have an artist date. Hold on. You have to have an artist date every weekend. I'm sorry, not every weekend, every week. And I chose to do the Whitney. That shit was whack. But the whole day ended up becoming like an artist date in a sense because when I left the Whitney, I was like, fuck it, you know what? I'm gonna just stroll around the city and just chill and see what happens because you never know. And then I got this urge, this voice in my head told me to walk to Electric Lady Studios, which is like one of my, like when it comes to the top state of the art studios in New York, Electric Lady is like my favorite. I don't know why. I have no idea, but it just is. Like Electric Lady is a dream of mine to work in. Like, it's a dream of mine, a goal, not even a dream, it's a fucking goal of mine to make an album in Electric Lady Studios. Like, that's just thinking about it just sends chills down my spine. But yeah, I just got this urge to go over there, and I went. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought I was gonna probably like see like a celebrity or some shit coming out there, but it was pretty dead. There was nothing going on over there. So I went, and I stood outside for a little bit, and I was just looking at it. And as I was walking there, I tried to like envision myself as the person that I want to be, as the successful big artist that I want to be, going there. So I tried to like take that version of me and place it in the now, so I could feel like I'm going there for a session, pretty much. You know what I mean? Because everything starts inside, so you gotta, yeah. But yeah. And as I was walking there, I was kind of just like envisioning myself, you know, in a SUV, or in a Maybach, or in a Cullinan, because those are my favorite cars. Just envisioning myself in those cars being dropped off at Electric Lady, and then security opens the door, you get out the car, you go in, da, 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 and record your album at Electric Lady Studios. That's what I was envisioning. So when I got there and I was just standing outside, I was just like picturing myself walking inside, picturing myself walking inside, picturing myself walking inside. So then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go in there and see if they got internships or whatever. So I walked in, and it was like the weirdest shit ever. It's like you walk into Electric Lady, and it's like a dark room. I kid you not. It's just a black room, a small dark room with a tiny little reception window. It was the creepiest shit ever. And I was there, and I was trying to like figure out how to get inside the studio, and I heard this voice from this little camera that was at the reception window, and there's some lady like, "Oh, can I help you?" Da, da, da. And I told her, I was like, "Oh yeah, are you guys looking to do any internships, whatever, whatever?" And she gave me the email, and I walked out. And I'm not gonna lie, I took not a selfie, but I took a picture of the Electric Lady sign. Like, if you ever go to Electric Lady, you'll see that the window is kind of like a mirror, in a sense, I guess you could say, but it has the Electric Lady logo on it. So I took a picture, just to have memories, I guess you could say, of me not being anybody right now and me going for an internship. So then once the time comes where I'm ready to go to Electric Lady, I can look at that picture like, oh shit, wow. You know what I mean? So yeah, so it was cool. It was cool. I'm trying to think like what else happened this week. What else happened this week? Whatever. Oh yes, that's what it was too. I think I'm gonna start working on an album, because I have an idea. I'm not gonna share it, but I have this cool idea for an album that I really want to execute. And it's funny because um shit. It's funny because this book is literally like helping me with that album, like a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I started making the album because of this book. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I'm very interested in seeing where my life ends up after reading this book, and then also this year and next year and the year after that. Because it's like, before, when I first started music, for a very long time, I kind of had no idea where I wanted to take it. And like, I wasn't really sure about myself when it came to the music. You know what I mean? Like, I knew it was something that I wanted to do, but it was like I didn't really have a lot of areas in my life stabilized to the point where I could just solely focus on that. And I feel like now I'm starting to get that stabilization in certain areas, especially like spiritually and emotionally. Those are two huge areas that must be stabilized if you're ever going to pursue music, or not even just music, but any creative, artistic endeavor that you want to be fucking great, that you want to be the best at. Your spirit and your emotions need to be aligned. You know what I'm saying? Because spiritually, if you're not aligned, how are you supposed to get information? How are you supposed to get shit fed to you? You know what I'm saying? When you're aligned spiritually, you know what I'm saying? You open up a notebook, you throw a beat on, the words is just flowing. Words is just flowing. Words is just flowing. You know what I'm saying? You align emotionally. You know what I mean? You a lot of things don't get to you. You know, of course, there's more layers to being stably emotional. Wait, emotionally stable. I'm sorry, emotionally stable. But from what I've seen, being emotionally stable when pursuing a career, an artistic career, it gives you thick skin. You know what I mean? It goes back to what I was saying about how nobody will truly see your vision except for, and I'm sorry, no one will truly see your vision unless you have a following. Um, if you're not emotionally regulated and emotionally stabilized, shit like that, pretty much damn near everything on this list will crumble you just like that. Done. You know what I mean? And of course, the other side of that is being emotionally stable will all in all help you produce better art. You know what I mean? If you're able to really tap into your emotions and tap into what your heart is actually saying and not your mind, that's it right there. You know what I mean? That's the union with God that all artistic and creative people seek to have. That's it. If you're listening to this and not this, because you listen to this, you're not gonna get anywhere. To be honest with you, especially being an artist and being a creative, you're not gonna get anywhere. I mean, this will get you places logically. This will get you in certain rooms and whatnot. But as far as actually making art and actually putting your all into something, all of that starts right here. You know what I mean? And if, like I said, if you don't listen to this, the art means nothing. If the art does not have, I'm about to cook. If the art does not have heart in it, what is the last three letters in the word heart? Art. There you go. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think those are two places that need to be aligned. Like that's a non-negotiable. They need to be aligned. You know what I mean? They need to be aligned. And then once those two are aligned, everything else just falls into place. The mental, the physical, everything that has to do with what you're doing falls right into place. Kid you not. And I think this book is really teaching me that because the last two songs that I wrote, well, I didn't finish the second one, but the first one that I did, I kind of just, how can I put this? So let me go back before that. Prior to me even reading this book, what made me even decide to pick it up, it wasn't even Doechii, it wasn't Cole. What made me even decide to actually pick this book up is the fact that I was at a point artistically where anytime I would write, it was almost like I was using this to write. And I was trying to just pull shit out, just drain the pipe for whatever fucking lyrics I could get, you know what I mean? And it made my music not really have that umph to it. You know what I mean? In one of Doechii's videos, she talked about how she talked about wanting her music to be an experience. Was it? I don't know if it was the exact word of experience, but it was like was it an experience? Yeah, I don't think it actually, let's see right now. I don't think it was the exact word experience, but it was a word similar to that. Let's see if I can find it though. Yeah, because I was watching this video. I've watched this video like 20,000 times already. I think this is when the vlogs that she was doing before she got famous. I think this is the best video, hands down. I'll show you in a second. Hold up. Okay. Production, creating an encounter. That's what it. Wait, was it an encounter? I'm not talented, or I expect for my projects to be encounters. Yeah. So yeah, an encounter, experience. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we good. It's this video right here. And the same core values. What do you really give a fuck about? This video right here, tough. But yeah. When I was writing the songs prior to me reading this book, it's like I didn't get that encounter. I didn't get that spiritual experience. And that this is where the spirit play comes into play. That the songs didn't move me. It was like I would rap them And yes, they sounded cool to someone who doesn't rap and someone who doesn't make music. And if I rap that to them, they'd be like, "Oh shit, that's fire." But to me, it didn't really give me that flair, that that experience. You know what I'm saying? And after that, when I realized that, and I'm not to mention I wasn't even finishing the songs because I just something in me knew that these songs weren't what they needed to be. So it's just like I just subconsciously didn't even finish them. But then, like I said, once I started picking up this book and really dissecting what Julia Cameron was talking about, that's when I noticed that you kind of got to just let the well flow on its own. Again, whether it's music, acting, uh, 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 fine art, cooking, no, I'm sorry, not cooking, culinary work, just whatever. You know what I mean? You have to let that spiritual well flow on its own. Because the more you tug at it, the more you tug at it, the more you tug at it, eventually it's going to be like, yeah, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It's like you kind of got to you kind of got to let God want to speak to you in a sense. You know what I mean? You can't keep on, "Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Please help me. Are you ready? You got to give him a chance to speak to you." You know what I mean? And that's the approach that I took with writing these last two songs. And that's the approach I'm going to take writing all the songs on this upcoming album that I'm doing. Um, just letting the spirit, letting God, letting the universe, whatever you call it, let it speak to you. Don't force it. Don't force it into a conversation. You know what I mean? Let it come to you. You know what I'm saying? Let it come to you. So yeah, I think like I said, I'm gonna take that approach moving forward, just period, and see where it gets me. And if the first week, the first chapter got me thinking like this, I can only imagine what the other 11 chapters are gonna have me thinking. That's what I'm saying. By the time I finish this book, I'm very interested in seeing where my art and my creative process is gonna be at. Um, once this book is over with. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, like I said, the spirit and the emotions aren't aligned. There's really no point. It's no point. And now that I think back to it, the times where I made my best music, my best work, the work that gave me that experience and that encounter, my spirit, my emotions were aligned. And when they're aligned, and this is just my personal perspective. When they're aligned is when you get something called a flow state. You see what I'm saying? Because I think that once you get into the flow state, now that conversation with God is starting to pick up. And the deeper you get into it, the more deeper that conversation gets. You know what I mean? And then before you realize it, you like, oh, like what? I wrote this. I painted this. Like I did this. Whoa, okay. Wow, I didn't even realize that. I've had so many experiences with making music like that. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because I've been doing music since I was in high school and I'm 27 now. So I'd say that was what, like over 10 years, I'll tell you that much. And I'm just now starting to realize that. Just now starting to realize that making music and making art is a spiritual and emotional game. You know what I'm saying? It is, you know, but I kind of got off topic, which I'm not mad about, but I kind of got off topic from one of these. But the moral of the story, for number two, nobody will truly see your vision unless you have a following. Don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? As long as you could see your vision and you could see yourself up there on stage, winning a Grammy, on tour, whatever, in the studio with whoever, whenever, however, as long as you can see that, that's all that matters. Because most of the time, the people that you're so worried about that don't support your shit and they support other people's shit, 9 out of 10 times they're not doing anything near what you're doing, anything even remotely fucking close to it. You understand what I'm saying? So why even feed that? Why even give that mental energy? You know what I mean? It's just not worth it. You know, so as long as you're aligned and you have your spirit aligned, you have your emotions aligned, everything is aligned, you good. It's impossible for you not to win. You know what I mean? It's impossible at that point. And I feel it right now, even with me. I feel like internally, the more I get to know myself and the more I tap in with myself a lot more, I feel it. You know what I mean? I feel myself becoming free, becoming. I can't even explain it. Honestly, it's just one of those things that you have to go through yourself because spirituality is subjective at the end of the day. Wait, subjective. Subjective? I think subjective means personal, I think. And then objective means factual. But yeah, spirituality, just make sure I got this word right. Personal feelings, yeah. So spirituality is very subjective. You know what I mean? It's different for everybody. How I experience my work and how I experience myself and my heart and my whatever, you might not experience it that way. You might experience it a completely different way. You know what I mean? But the fact that you're still experiencing it, you know what I mean? It's like the experience is the core experience is the same amongst everybody, but how you live that experience out is not the same. I don't know if that makes sense. It's the same for everybody, but it's not the same at the same time. You know, but yeah, man, just see your vision, align your spirit, align your emotions, and you will literally be super fucking man. Love you.